This next experience was again related to the first one as well, in that I was here in the house on the real side, the personal self house, and I was with a sister, and we were on the ground floor level. We were towards the front living room, and all of a sudden, things started to shake. There was like an earthquake, and as soon as there was an earthquake, I all of a sudden popped what seemed to be like outside of the body on the real side, mostly maybe the astral body. I came out of this body and I got this bigger view, and I saw the whole earth. And when I looked at the whole earth, it was like the tectonic plates were completely shifting. I mean, there was this huge shift taking place, and because I don't necessarily see that as literal, oh, the actual plates are going to shift. I just think that the nature of this shift is huge. It's sort of like immense or something like this. And what it came to be was is that once the sister and I we stepped out of the personal self home, I could see in the street there was all these cracks and everything, and it almost looked like lava and kind of stuff, because I mean it was really like the earth was breaking apart. It was just this huge shift, and all these old buildings started collapsing. All these institutions and things, they started collapsing all around the world, and people were panicking and very scared because they thought the earth was going to be destroyed. They had this idea that they were going to lose their way of life and lose their lives or their lives here. And what happened next was, as I looked to the sky, and all of a sudden I was sort of like transported instantly, just outside the atmosphere. I had this very strong impression that I was not far from the earth. I was maybe, oh, I was closer than the moon or something like that. I mean, I was really just right outside the Earth's atmosphere, kind of what you can see from the surface. And there was these huge ships. It was like it was the part of the Armada, or the like the whole Armada. It looked like that they were right there at the surface, and they were coming to pick up and assist those who were willing and ready because of this huge shift taking place. And this may even being, or rather, being the shift itself. Okay, and then this last experience that I'll share, I just had this a couple nights ago. Um, it relates to some other experiences I've been having. There's been certain things that I've been wanting to do in the physical sense, like in terms of sharing. I do little things, but I really was looking at the things that I could do, and I was trying to come up with something, and along those lines. And I've been seeing, having these real side experiences, that there's the personal self that you have to deal with the personal self, and to get to this position. It was very interesting, these experiences. I won't get into those, but anyways, with that intention, I had this experience where um I approached this man who was sitting on a couch. He had a sort of like a boom mic in front of him, sort of like a podcast microphone, if you guys are familiar with a podcast. um I approached this individual, and he just looked kind of like a regular guy, just black tee, camo shorts, and this kind of long, curly kind of hair, brown hair. And there was all these people surrounding him, sort of like sitting around him in a circle fashion, and they were all also sitting on these couches. And he was telling them, I guess his whole thing was that he was sort of like a conspiracy theorist or something along those lines. He liked to look beyond the surface, and get information out to people on his podcast or alternative information platform, whatever. And I remember that I was looking at him talking to the people that he was informing, and they seemed very scared. They did not know what to do with the information that he was giving them. And I remember going through similar experiences with individuals that I would try to share with, and it's like it was like information overload, that the things that I would try to share with them, really had to take it like baby steps. And so I remember I stepped onto the scene, and I when I approached him, I remember I asked him something along the lines of, what are you sharing, something like that. And he started telling me about, oh, the government this and the government that, and kind of going in those directions. And I remember I sort of I it was like the way that I looked at him, it's like I wasn't just looking at his personal stuff. I was really trying to impress upon him that it's okay to share with people, but the information you give them, you have to look at what it relates to. And is there, because I remember, I believe, Duane, you shared this with me, that a lot of that information, it has no resolve. So it kind of just bounces around in people's personal selves, and it really can drive them kind of nuts or make them kind of funny. And I remember I was really trying to impress this upon him and share this view with him. And all of a sudden, to his right hand side, I remember seeing Rebazar had his arm around him, sort of like kind of casual, not like necessarily on his shoulder, but like on the seat behind him, like if he's resting his arm on the backboard of the couch. And he was in his very sharp blue suit, and Rebazar was looking right at me, and he had this very like kind of almost like a business like look, like it was kind of like no joke kind of thing. It was kind of like that. And I remember I had this very strong impression that this individual has a show or has a podcast. He does something to where he gets media attention, and there's this opportunity to sort of set this up in a particular way. And so I've been searching for more information about this, but those are just some experiences I've been having and little things that I wanted to share. So thank you everybody for listening.
Well, Jeremy, yeah, that's good. I'll just say that, looking at your view and your experience of the earth and whatever, I've seen this, and that's and I went through that with the rod of power and all kinds of things. And, that's the breakup of the old stuff. And there's a fella here that I talk to once a week. His name's Eric Gamer. He's been doing the new you for months and months, and he has some really good real side experiences too. And so, yeah, this is the breakup that's taking place, that's being preceded. And just like you were in that room with all the fathead politicians, because that's what they are, they're just a bunch of fatheads, because they're bloated. And the purple gas, that's an intuitive color, is what it is. And, they can't take that. That chokes them. They're not interested in anything intuitive, etc. So, your experiences are very, very good. And yes, this is what I do too out in the business world constantly. Even the business emails I get, I apply. I do applications to all kinds of businesses and whatever, just to let them know who I am. And they have business speaker programs and all this stuff. So I apply. And usually, of course, they want money. They'll teach you to be a better speaker, whatever. Well, I don't need to be a better speaker. Just I'm putting my name out there constantly. So I get the emails, and then I send them back their emails and say, let me help you. And then I send them some images, etc. But for the most part, it's a business. It's a business world that we're dealing with, and a lot of sound good stuff. Just like what has happened to Paul Eckankar from the day he was here. It was the spiritual path to help others, on their journey to really start to wake up to the real universes. And since then, it's been taken over. It's just a business. Has been basically since Harold's been there. Went through Darwin a little bit, and Darwin was the businessman. He was there 10 years. I knew Darwin, and then Harold takes over, and Joni's in the background, etc. And it looks like a spiritual program, or it looks like something good, and it's a business. It's all business. And so here's Rebazar in the position. Yeah, he's in a business suit, and he means business. And so this is the world, approaching it in this fashion and being creative with it. So I take every opportunity, and I have many, many things out there one of the things I created was the ISSS training. I even got hats, embroidered hats that I wear with that implies with the Secret Service and the government and other things. And it's a step, is what it is, because a lot of people are intrigued by these things. That's why they watch the movies and what have you. You see the consciousness and where the controllers have brought the consciousness around, intrigued with different things. And look at most of the movies. They're spy movies. Everybody's killing everybody, whatever. Okay, so this is the whole idea of reaction and distraction within this world. So just going along with that, playing along with that, and implementing things. We have, Ava creates these wonderful images. We have the goody images. And then also we have, I do that, but Ava creates these wonderful images like the children and the other things. And so we have a huge assortment as opposed to, say, like Eckankar or whatever. They have their business ideas and their business imagery. They're focused a particular way to draw people a particular way to keep them mind framed a particular way, etc. Yeah. And so you have a multitude of these things. And I use that too almost in all the images I create. I use the comparison of the world controllers, what's going on, human farming, etc. To give people a comparison, because we need that comparison. This is what's very important. And that is, we've been brought up with the idea that, oh, you're to be good. Okay, so what does that mean? You're to be a good person, you're to do good things, you're to get a good job, whatever. It's all this good stuff. And then stay away from the bad stuff. Well, that's our comparison. That's been our comparison, good and bad. And that really doesn't do it. We really need the recognition of what the is as a real comparison and to what's really going on in the world. And yes, I do. I talk to people too, and I listen to how they're saying, and they basically want to stay inside their bubble. And yes, we have the people like that you had in your experience. They get into that particular mode of delivering the knowledge or whatever out there, like David Icke, like Tony Robbins, whatever. And what do? They charge people to hear their words. It's a business. What are we doing? It's not that. It's presentation. It's very real because we have the insight to see that there is something else to compare it to. So in the meantime, yes, a step at a time. I create these ideas a step at a time to see if people want to go through the steps to wake up and become more aware. And most of the time they don't. They want to stay in their own bubble. They want to just know what they know. Now, one of Eric's experiences was he was on a yacht with a rich fella that's a promoter, because Eric's a popular gamer almost around the world. He's very good at what he does. He lives in San Diego here. And so he was on this yacht for a couple of weeks. And they invented a sports drink. They have a sports drink called G Fuel, like the Monster drinks and whatever, all this nonsense, Gatorade. And he did a contract with this fella in the physical. And so when Eric told me this, he had been gone for a few weeks. He wasn't on the Wednesday call. It's Wednesday at 9 p.m. and anybody's welcome to come. But anyhow, I told him immediately, I said, that's garbage. And I looked it up, and you're promoting this, and this is even to where this is given people seizures and all kinds of stuff, and you're promoting this. But he's in the mind frame that, oh, this is a good thing. It's made out of grass, it's made out of tomato juice or whatever. It's good for you, whatever. I said, nothing in an aluminum can is good for you. It's freaking poison. And so he had a couple experiences. One was actually with the Kalam God, and with the contract with the influence. And then the next week, he had one with one of the guides. It's called Germa, that Rebazar had assigned to him I have experiences with Eric too. And so Eric wanted to introduce Germa to this fella that was, his sponsor. They were in Burger King. And Germa said, no, I don't want to meet him. I said, he's the Callum God. Germa said, he's the Callum God. Okay. And Eric didn't know who that was or the influence. I explained to what it was. And he'd been given hints as to, this drink and what he's doing and what he's promoting. And I told Eric many times, I said, you're responsible. You keep promoting this crap and you're responsible. Because it's just business and it's not helping people at all. But because of your position and it's about money and whatever. So again, you keep promoting this, and he still does. Doesn't listen. So yes, even when people are having experiences right on, etc., it's still very hard for them. It's really hard to get through to them just the simplest things. And until they recognize the is, truly recognize it, not just the idea that, oh, this is what it is. No, those are just ideas. We came through all those ideas of spiritual stuff, spiritual ideas. They're just ideas, God's, Savior, soul, all this stuff. These are just ideas, and not the real recognition of it. The struggle to understand what's going on with all life, it's rather difficult. So most people will stick to the personal self is what they'll do. And they'll look to the systems. And yes, they're afraid because the systems are fear-based. They're all fear-based. They're made to look good. They're made to sound good. But it's all about fear, because those that created the systems are the most afraid. They're so afraid they're not going to get what they want, so they trick others into getting it for them and control them. That's the entire system. So people that are out there rah-ing for the president, Democrat and Republican, whatever, you're simply supporting the fear-based systems to control others. It's 100%. There's nothing else to it. Like the sun shining, all life is an isness to be recognized. And so we've come to this point. So your experiences are fun, Jeremy. So that's what's going on. Yeah, North and South Poles. And even though they have alien captives in these places already, they're still asking the question, why are you here? This is how these people are, these military people and all these people and all these psychics and whatever. They have no idea what's going on. They just look to their gods and the nonsense that's been whatever. So we'll see how this breakup occurs and who will be ready, etc., to recognize it and to be able to handle it and really do something real, etc., with it. I like the adventure. I like the challenge. So thank you for showing up and sharing. Thank you.